Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sick as dog shit all weekend.
Take it easy.
Yeah, I am. I already told my guys I was gonna lean on them to do all the work today.
God, you're just like all those memes they make about the man flu.
Yeah.
About how weak we are when we get sick, like we become pathetic. That's you.
I got the man flu. You're gonna have to wait on me hand and foot.
You just cry.
Ugh.
I'm dying. You really just have a cold. You know, when Madison was so sick, I got a lot of practice in figuring it out.
She's over all that shit, right? I mean, that was kind of a child.
Well, she grew out of it by the time she was 3. It was neutropenia. It was autoimmune neutropenia. Autoimmune means her own antibodies, you know, we're killing it. We're killing her own cells. It's fairly rare. You know, it's not very common. I have like a pretty big, I don't know, problem with the way the medical field handles things that are really unusual. You know, it's like everybody's like, it's probably not this because, you know, that's really rare. They're like, so? It's rare. So? I only have 1 kid. You know what I mean?
That's pretty rare to me. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, at the time, this is 1 person. I'm not coming to you with 100 children saying they have this, you know, this weird occurrence going on in their life. But it was like pulling teeth to get them to acknowledge what was going on, to figure it out. You know how, like, if you don't know how to handle something, and, like, you just put it off, or you're just like, it's probably, you know, we'll figure it out. That's what it felt like, you know, going through that whole process of figuring out exactly what she had. And so, like, yeah, she's had a low neutrophil count, every single time we've ever taken a blood test, which we've taken a lot of blood tests, a lot. And she just keeps getting sick, and, you know, I don't know. Like, you know, there's some rare diseases it could be. Okay, well, let's look into that, because I'm tired of my child being really sick for over, like, almost 2 months.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean?
It was longer than that.
Well, that's how long it took before she was admitted into the hospital. She wasn't admitted into the hospital until, she's getting 107 fever, and this has happened so many times. She's, you know, 1 week she would try 1 antibiotic. You know, we would get through taking it, and she'd still get sick.
Her fever got up to 107?
Yeah, that's when we got admitted.
Fuck. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, but it was just like pulling fucking teeth to get anybody to think, you know, maybe this isn't a normal thing.
Yeah, well,
you know, like,
it all kind of turned around whenever y'all got her up here to Cooks, right?
Yeah, well, I mean...
Aren't they the ones that, like, finally properly diagnosed her and found a treatment?
Yeah. I mean, before that, there's a lot that happened. The reason why we went to Cooks is because they did a culture. Well, she kept getting ear infections over and over. Anyways, they did a culture of her ear, and there was staph in it.
Oh, fuck.
And then, not only that, she became, I hate it when I can't think of a word. She had a really low fever. She was like 94 degrees. Hypothermic. She was hypothermic. Damn. It's because her body temperature was way lower than it should be. So when the culture came back weird, that had like staph in it, which, you know, looked more or less like it may have been contaminated. you know, because staff lives on everything in a fucking hospital. Anyways, so, you know, when you get signs that she has a staph infection, they're treating her for it by giving her antibiotics, you know, IV through the IV, and then she becomes hypothermic. You know, it looks like she's becoming septic, like it's getting all in her blood and spreading all over, and you know, this looks like a dire situation where she could possibly take a turn for the worse and not make it. So they just care flight us in a helicopter to Cooks.
I didn't know she got care flighted.
Yeah, we got care flight. It was scary. You know, her little arms, all the veins in her arms were blown out from all the times that she had blood drawn from getting IVs, and they had to shave a little spot on the side of her head because the veins are really good. It was just sad. And it was scary.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine that'd be absolutely terrifying. And you gotta feel helpless as shit, because it's not like you can do anything to help. You're just kind of sitting there waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, and then figuring out what's going on, it's got really frustrating, and
sure.
It was like I said, it was like people it was like they didn't want to believe that it was something outside of the normative. It took, you know, her having like a weird reaction or something to a drug, or, you know, just trying to treat this kid and just like, yeah, it'll probably be okay, you know, method, until something weird happens and it becomes scary and somebody thinks that a little baby is gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it took for us to go to this other hospital, and then they started, you know, they did every test, you know, imaginable, and then finally it was like, oh, looks like maybe she has, you know, she's been neutropenic all this time, you know, maybe it has to do with that type of disease. It's like, you've been taking these blood tests since day one. Why is it taking this long to figure that out?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was my you know, my attitude towards it is, you know, doctors have a tendency to believe inside their own experience. So what they're going to gravitate towards is, you know, the normative. And the problem is there's a lot of times it isn't the normative. It's not the normal occurrence. You know, you got to be, doctors have to be more open to what they don't know or what they're not used to.
And you got to put yourself in the doctor's shoes, you know, they don't know everything. And,
no, I get that. I just don't like the resistance. The resistance to, well, this may be difficult to figure out, so what we'll do is we'll twiddle our fucking thumbs, and we won't get to the bottom of it now. We'll wait and see. That's something you get a lot of, we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Well,
that's a problem.
And then another thing is you get shuffled between specialists and other doctors. I mean, how many different doctors did you go to while that was going on?
Well, I mean,
probably 100.
Her primary care doctor was pretty much most of everything here in Abilene. And then when we went there, we had 3 doctors. We had a main doctor, we had an infectious disease doctor, and a blood doctor. So I don't think there wasn't very much problems while we were there at Cooks, you know, as far as communication between them and stuff. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about. I feel like there should be a database recording what the reactions are to certain drugs and certain illnesses, and you can create like a big flow chart, you know, so coming up with the percentage chances that it's this or that illness when you're trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason why we can't record every single time that somebody's given a certain thing, if they have an adverse reaction, that it shouldn't be recorded and added to basically a collection of information that everybody should know about. Because what we're operating on is the experience of singular doctors in different places. And that's not good. It's like each doctor is trying to figure out things on their own.
Yeah.
Rather than collectively. Don't you think everything would move a lot faster if we did things collectively?
Absolutely. Just plug in the symptoms and throw it into the database and see what pops up. That way you're not trying to recreate the wheel every time you get somebody that comes in with odd symptoms. I think it would save our medical system a lot of money and help people get treated correctly. And I'm amazed that we don't have a system like that. A database that could help diagnose people.
Yeah. Hey man, I gotta go. Let me call you back later.
Bye.
Bye.